Hello everyone. Today's video is all about the iPhone. Actually more specifically iOS, not necessarily about the iPhone 16 Pro Max that I'm using. I got this last year and I recently switched back over to this iPhone from my Pixel 9 Pro XL. I'm actually going to return this pretty soon, so that's why I switched to my iPhone here. I don't want to damage this in the few days that I have it before returning it, but as you could see, just very briefly, this is it. This is the home screen. This is the new March Pixel drop that has these custom icons. This is how I set it as. It's Stardust, so I'll keep that here in the background just for reference when I talk about what I really don't like about iOS. So just briefly, from pretty much high school, I had the iPhone. I think I started with the 4, and by the time I switched over to Android, I was on the iPhone XR, I believe, and I switched over to the Z Flip 3. I think it was 3 or 4. I think it was 3. Samsung's clamshell little foldable phone. I really enjoyed that. That was the beginning of my Android journey. I actually didn't get a Pixel until Pixel 7a about 3 years ago or so. That was my first Pixel. Absolutely loved it, and it kind of just, it was still fairly new. I don't think new is the right word, but it was still kind of like a work in progress, at least from my perspective. So I got the Pixel 7a, and then I kind of went back to Samsung with the S23 Ultra, and from there I used the Ultra for quite a while before switching over to the 9 Pro, and kind of at the same time the 15 Pro. That's when iPhone brought the USB-C, which was literally the only reason why I got the 15 Pro. I was like, oh shoot, they have the USB-C now, because at that point all my devices were USB-C had compatibility, so it didn't really make sense for me to go back to an iPhone that had to have a separate, whole different lightning cable, which is total nonsense. I like that was so stupid. Thank you, Europe, for forcing Apple to have some common sense. So yeah, that was pretty much it. I thought the dynamic island was pretty cool. I thought the action button at the time was pretty cool, and now I think the camera button is pretty cool. I'm in probably the super minority in that I actually like these two new additional buttons, and it's actually something I really wish Pixel would adopt. Maybe not so much in terms of physical buttons, but Samsung here, which I'm filming on my S25 Edge, you could program the power button. You double click it, it turns on the camera. You hold it down for about 3 seconds. I have it programmed to turn on the flashlight. That's something I wish Pixel would implement. I don't know why they can't do that. I don't. It seemed like it would be an easy fix. I don't know, but for some reason they haven't done it. And going from Samsung and then going to Apple or iPhone and then going to Pixel, or going to Pixel and then coming to iPhone, whichever way it is, there are some things that I definitely miss over here in terms of accessibility, flashlight, camera. Well, mostly flashlight, because I get up at 3 a.m. Monday through Friday for work, and I need the flashlight to see, so I don't want to turn on a bunch of lights right away and blind myself. So flashlight is very helpful for me in the mornings, and also when I take my dogs out during the night, if they have to go bathroom or something, it's nice to have instead of rooting around trying to find a flashlight that I always misplace. So anyway, in terms of that, I have to give a point to both Samsung and Apple. I don't want to give a point because this isn't about the 3. This is mostly about iOS because I switched back to iOS iPhone the past week or so. And yeah, there's some things that are very obviously I hate. I don't understand it when I get. So one thing I love about Android, when you get a notification, it pops up here right in the corner. It tells you there's text message, there's a missed call. You see it right away. With iPhone, they put aesthetics, I guess, over functionality, accessibility. I'm using those two words interchangeably, so I'll say functionality for the remainder of the video, if I remember. There's no way for me to figure out like, what's going on? If I missed a message, I accidentally swiped it on the notification screen. I missed a call, accidentally swiped it. If I'm on, let's say my phone is unlocked and open, let's say someone calls me, yeah, I got these little two notifications down here. But again, if like I accidentally swipe it during one time and then like an hour later I was like, oh shoot, I forgot that I had the message. So you can't really, it's not really there. The notification center isn't the best. You just have a little thing right here that says one notification, two notification, etc. When it comes to Pixel and Android, you have it here. You have it like right there, right in front of your face. It's hard to miss it. Obviously, there's customizations where you could only have it a little icon. You have options over there, but with iPhone, I don't understand how iPhones have gotten the reputation of being super user friendly when they're not. It's kind of crazy how, I don't even know if the tech community is the one that kind of started it, but they're not user friendly at all. Holding down apps, it gives you a minimal amount of options. 100% of the time have nothing to do with the settings, because of course you have to go into the settings and do everything there, play with everything there. You don't want something to have notifications, you gotta go in settings. On my iPhone 16e, on my YouTube Studio, I signed in with the wrong email and it got bugged out, and there's no way for me to clear the data, clear the cache. Let me show you guys. So when you hold down an app over here on Pixel, it gives you these options, right? App info, pause app, remove. You go to app info here. You have the storage and cache. Clear storage. You do both. You clear storage. You open up the app. It's brand new. It's like you're logging in for the first time. You just downloaded it. Here on iPhone, there's no such thing. You have to delete the app if something bugs out. You have to delete it, re-download it, because there's no option for you to do that, unless it's probably somewhere hidden in the settings, which I kind of hate that everything is just so hidden. The fact that there's so many YouTube videos about, yeah, see, there's no option here to clear the storage or anything. It's just these simple settings. For YouTube Studio as an example. It kind of blows my mind that in 2026, if I were to watch one of those secret tips for iPhones, that I would learn things this far along in using iPhones, which is kind of nuts, because in like Samsung Pixel, Samsung is a whole different thing. There's like their customization gods over there, so it's a little bit of a figuring out, but you know what you're getting with that. Like their whole reputation of Samsung is customization, and you kind of have to figure things out for yourself over there, especially if you get good luck. But with iPhone, they purposely make it to where they don't really tell you what's going on. Like, I don't know if anyone else feels that way, switching back to iPhone after using Android for quite a while. And yeah, it's a little bit frustrating having to kind of trying to figure things out. I recently booted up my Apple Watch. For the life of me, I can't figure out what's going on, why messages aren't coming to my Apple Watch. Everything's set up. iMessage is set up. Notifications are turned on. There's no do not disturb on. Okay, look, I got a text message from my mom. I know that I have my phone open, but she's been texting me on and off with my phone locked, and I haven't been getting anything on my watch. So it's pretty, I don't know, it's so stupid. Okay, so I pulled up. So another thing I really don't like is not having universal back gestures. It's something that's, once you use it, you like want it on every device going forward. And sorry, my mom is looking at some Easter bunnies. I thought she was I guess I'll just show you very quick. I thought she was asking if I wanted one of these. I was like, no, I don't. Save your money. This is not for you. Yeah, so the universal back gesture, it's so stupid. I know that, like, it's so, for such a big phone in my hand, let's say I don't know, it's early morning, I'm trying to find something to listen to on my way to work. I can't, like, how do I get, just using one hand, how the heck do I get back to the home page? There's no option here. Like going like this. Okay, maybe if I switch my left hand, go like this. Nope. You gotta go all the way down here. And you're at your home page. You wanna see what's new, you gotta press the new tab. So it's a bit frustrating, and this is just one example, but it's so different for pretty much nearly all apps, which is so frustrating. As right, even on my YouTube Studio, you got different tabs here, but no back, nothing. I don't understand it. I don't understand how that's not been implemented. A universal back gesture. I can't imagine it's a crazy amount of work to put this into your iOS. I have no idea, but super cheap, like $90 Android phones have this on there. So I don't I honestly I don't understand it. Like even for something like Dig, go here. This, you see how like you're able to go back with kind of like a middle swipe here. That's fine. Okay, I'll take that. But if you go to communities and then you want to go back to your home page, what do? How do you get back? Just using one-handed. You don't really. It's not there for you to get to. So I don't. Again, I think it's just something that's crazy that it's not here. And once again, like I said, if you've ever used the Android phone and you have that universal back gesture, and then you come back to iPhones and you're kind of like, why is it not here? Especially if you have a big phone. I could, like, if you have a base phone, the 16E or a SE phone or even iPhone mini here in 2026, yeah, I could see not needing a universal back gesture for such a small phone. But if you got a big phone at all, it pretty much becomes a two-handed operation just to get out of an app or get back to a part of an app where you want to get back to, like a home page or something. So that's the universal back gesture. That's my little spiel on that. It's just something that's so obviously missing when switching back to iOS. And yeah, I think it's a bit of a bummer that it's still pretty gone. Also, I would like to just briefly talk about how Samsung doesn't really have this, but Pixel, see how you could pull down anywhere, and you get the notification / control center here with iPhone. Let me see. It brings up this stupid search function that no one uses. But nope, you gotta go all the way right here. Like, oh shoot, no, I want to check my text. And I was like, gotta go over here. The separation of the two is stupid. I remember the days of remember when you had to, remember when you could swipe up and everything came up? You swiped right, you swiped up from the bottom right, and the control center came up. You swiped bottom left, and the notification. Like, they need to bring that back, or actually have an option to bring that back, because that would be kind of cool. I could see that being something that's worth it to bring around. That would kind of solve the problems of having big phones and not being able to reach your notifications or your control center easily. Once again, it becomes a two-handed operation. You gotta go like this, or you gotta maneuver in such a way it's like this. And right now, I have a little pop socket on, but without it, my thumb doesn't go, so I have to like put the phone a little bit up, and then there it goes. So that's another thing I kind of hate about the iOS, and the fact that they refuse to change that anytime soon. Sorry, my bro stopped by very quick, so I had to briefly or abruptly pause the video. I'll just move on. I know I'm kind of like comparing this to Pixel. I didn't want it to be a comparison video, but I kind of have to have something that I like versus something that I don't really like, or vice versa. So I guess it'll kind of be a comparison video going forward, sorta. So talking about lock screen, I think in terms of lock screen here, iPhone iPhone is more pleasing to look at, especially with the liquid glass. I know a lot of people don't really like it, but I really enjoy it. Also, the fact that they have so many widgets here available. I have my two little photography apps here readily available. Something that's never been available. I could use it through Good Lock on Samsung. I could have it, but it looks very clunky and not so aesthetically pleasing. So I do enjoy the lock screen of iPhone. However, I do like how Pixel has implemented these lock screen widgets when you swipe to the right. Right now, I just have the base one or the regular ones that are pre loaded here, weather and stocks. But you could add a bunch of different ones. You could add battery and stuff like that. It just looks nice. I've always liked how the Pixel looks in terms of widgets and themes. I think they do that very well. You could kind of see here these two widgets and how it kind of has a nice little color scheme to it. So I think in terms of the actual lock screen and then being able to bring it down, I know it kind of acts as a notification center slash lock screen when you bring it down on an unlocked phone. You don't really have the same thing here on Pixel. You kind of gotta close it or you gotta hold it down and do your wallpaper and style if you want to change anything in terms of the little widgets. The two, see, that's another thing Pixel lacks, is it only has two options for your the widgets, the lock screen widgets, the two right here. Whereas Apple, of course, you could have up to six, which is nice. Another thing I do want to talk about, I think this will probably be the most controversial, is I don't care for Face ID. I really don't. Especially, I know a lot of people, I don't know if it's like a Reddit thing, but a lot of people get so offended in the iPhone and the Apple subreddits when I say, I wake up at 3 a.m. When I wake up and I grab my phone, I'm not putting this up to brightness so it could see my face. I have it down here. And when this is down here, half the time it doesn't work on the first try. It mostly works on the second try, but for the amount of people that I kind of like offend in those subreddits, it's pretty nuts because Face ID, yeah, it's great, but it's not 100% accurate all the time. And I've set up like multiple faces, kind of how I set up multiple fingerprints of the same fingerprint on here, just so it's a little bit more accurate and I don't have to do it so many times on one go. It's the same kind of the same thing here. I've done it multiple times with different with my glasses on, glasses off. I never do it with my mask on because I wear a mask to work. So, but when I have nothing on my face, it should work right away. As you can see, it's unlocking now at this distance. It's still sunlight. It's 3 p.m. in the day, has no problem here. But at night, at 3 a.m., it has a terrible problem. And I don't know if it's just it being so very dark in my room, and then I lowered the brightness down because, again, I don't want to wake up to something super bright in my face. I have to have my eyes open at the same time. So I prefer fingerprint in terms of how my lifestyle is. I prefer the fingerprint unlocking because I don't have to open up my eyes. I don't have to take the time to kind of squint and force myself to pull this down and then lower the brightness all the way down. With Pixel, I just pop it open and that's it. I'm good to go. And the reason I say is because I spend like the first 10 minutes of after my alarm goes off checking socials and stuff and checking my YouTube studio. So that's the only, if I were up and awake, if I'm able to get up as my alarm goes off and I get up and walk around, grab my phone, go do my morning routine, then I have no problem with opening this up or unlocking this with my face, like in the bathroom or in the kitchen while I'm getting my dog's food ready, stuff like that. Yeah, of course, that's not going to be a problem. But if I'm lying in bed, if I'm being lazy that day, the Face ID is going to be a problem. But that's it. That's all I say about that because I know like some people are very hardcore super Face ID fans, and yeah, I don't want to kind of be a part of that craziness over there. I'm looking at my little list of things to talk about. Let's see, I guess I could talk about customization. I think they're much better now than it was in iOS 20, iOS 18, iOS was it 16 when the tinted apps first came out. Those colors were so disgusting. I hate it. The first try was disgusting. This second try is pretty good. I think it's okay. I've had this blue color for about a week, and I really enjoy it. I also really enjoy the clear as well. I'm a huge fan of the clear. I kind of don't want to mess up this blue color though. Let me try to see where it's at. Okay. I think the clear is pretty cool. I kind of like how it you could see here, depending on how bright the background is. You see how these ones are a little bit more translucent than this one over here, where the Tome app is. It's a little more dark to kind of capture the darkness of this part of the screen. The lighter background, it's more translucent, and frosted, and then where the leaves are, it's of course darkened. So I really like this. I like the glass apps, custom apps. I think it's really nice, very cool. Again, I'm a huge fan of the liquid glass era. Hopefully it stays for quite a while, because I think this is probably the best it's looked. Oh boy. Let me try to get back to the blue. For some reason I really like this blue though. Oh, actually, you know what? I think I got it. I think I know where it's at. So let me just show you guys the new colors. They're pretty cool. I think they're a lot better than what they had before, especially pairing it up with the liquid glass part of it. It has a nice little touch to it. Oh, maybe I'll do a little bit more pastel blue. Oh yeah, maybe I'll go right there. Yeah, I'll switch it to that for a little bit. But I feel like that's it. That's as far as customization goes in on iOS. You have the oh my god, what's that app? What is that app that I'm thinking of? The shortcut app that's kind of like pretty much amateur coding there. I hated that thing. I don't use reminders. I don't use shortcuts at all. But for people who do, I'm sure they love that app. But that's in terms of actual customization. This is pretty much as good as it gets. Sorry, let me check my phone very quick. And then, oops. Let me just show you guys what Google has brought with the March update, the March Pixel drop. So these are the customizations for the icons here on Pixel. Let me see if I can get a little bit clearer. So this is the Jade, and I'll just quickly kind of go through it. So it utilizes Gemini to kind of switch the colors, and it has very minimal amount of colors here. So you could see create icon, and I just want to do a few examples so you could kind of see. Easel one is probably my favorite. You have this denim here. Primary color here. This one very much reminds me of the old school Pokemon watercolor art. So yeah, it has a pretty cool thing. But even without this stuff, you could have the minimal, and then it switches to the color scheme of your background that you choose, and then you have the shapes here. Circular, their classic circular one. You could do the rounded square, this four shaped one, whatever, this cookie cutter one, and this weird one. So yeah, there's Pixel is definitely the middle child of customization between Samsung's over customization and iPhone's bare minimum customization. And that's why I think I prefer Pixel, because they're so very in the middle, and they don't overdo it like Samsung, but they also give you a lot more than what iPhone gives you. So yeah, actually, let me check my list so I can keep it going. My stomach is grumbling, pretty hungry right now. Lock screen, widgets, I would say. One thing Pixel has been lacking is they don't have stacks like iPhone. iPhone did a pretty good job with the stacking option here. Samsung has it, so if you're on Samsung, you're probably like, yeah, whatever, we got it too. But Pixels don't. For some reason, they don't have it yet, and it's kind of like a good and bad thing. Sometimes I don't mind it, but sometimes if I have like if I want to keep it organized, I would want to put this on top of this and have a stack and then have a separate calendar widget. Obviously, I can't because I don't want to have a whole third page of just like a few apps because I want to accommodate a calendar right there. So I really enjoyed how Samsung and iOS have some sort of stacking capability for their apps, and yeah, especially having a calendar there at the ready instead of having to go into the app as well. Wait, daylight savings is tomorrow? I thought it was the 15th. Holy moly, daylight savings! Holy crap! Is it? So it's 3:04. I think it'll be spring forward, fall back. We're in spring. What is it? March. Spring forward. So tomorrow it'll be 4, but it'll feel like 3. Yeah, I think that makes sense because we'll get more sunlight during the day. Sorry, that was a brief. Daylight savings, oh my god, it's such a stupid concept that we still have to deal with, and the fact that I have to figure it out in my head like a dang math problem. It's so stupid. Anyway, I guess I'll kind of like round it out here. I like iPhones, I like iOS enough to keep using them, but for all the small things, it does build up and it really keeps pulling me back to Pixel as of now. Sometimes I get bored of Pixel and I go to Samsung because I want like ultra customization. But for the time being, I'm like really into Pixel, which is gonna suck because I'm once I return this, I won't have any Pixels to check out their any Pixel drops and stuff like that. So I'm on a lookout for a very cheap Pixel 7 or Pixel 8 at the moment, just to kind of keep something handy. So just to round out, yeah, I'd say if you're coming from iPhone and you want to check out an Android phone, you can't go wrong with the Pixels. Samsungs, I think, are a little bit too advanced for people that kind of want the minimalism of iPhone, but a little bit more customization. And the usability, functionality on the Pixels I think, are so much better over there than over here. Also, you could kind of see the difference between these two YouTube widgets. It's very slimmed down over here. It gives you home, shorts, and subscriptions. This one has a library tab right here, which I really enjoy. Also, another thing I really like, which a lot of people hate, is this unremovable Google search bar. I think it's removable now with the new updates. But it's so easy to just look something up here. Whereas here, you gotta go into Safari, you gotta create a new tab, and then you gotta Google it. But here, you just type in what you want to Google, and that's it. It's a one step process. Here, it's 2 steps. No, it's 3 steps. Open the app, open a tab, search. That's 3 steps for a 1-step process over here on Pixel. So I'll end it here. I know I already said that, but I'll for sure end it here. This was kind of just like my overview of returning to iPhone after kind of taking a break for a while, a few months. And yeah, it's always a bit of a struggle to get accommodated to iOS after using Android for quite a bit. So if you're kind of in the same boat as me, switching from Android back to iPhone, definitely let me know what you're missing the most. If you have always been an iPhone user, definitely let me know. If you're curious about anything I briefly noted over here on the Pixel. And yeah, I think that's it for now. I'll see you all next time. And for anyone who stopped by, thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you next time.